Hey y'all, it's Bear, and today I'm here to recommend you some Indigenous horror mystery thriller books. So I have a lot of books to get through. I have a lot of recommendations. I do not claim to be the end-all be-all resource of Indigenous literature. There are a lot of authors out there that I haven't read yet, a lot of authors that I want to get to, a lot of upcoming authors. Things are getting published every day. So don't take this as me saying these are the only native books that exist or the only native books that you should read. Don't do that. That's not cute. Just, you know what this is. Don't pretend it's something that it's not. So we're gonna skip the fun, dragged out intro and we're just gonna get straight into the books. So for recommendations, the first book I have is Him Standing by Richard Wagamese. This one is very short. It's very short, it's under 200 pages, and it follows this guy named Lucas Smoke who learns the art of wood carving from his grandpa. And one day, the stranger approaches him on the boardwalk while he's making carvings of people and commissions him to make a mask, a spirit mask. And then Lucas learns that the reason the man is making the mask is because he wants to summon this entity. I think it did a good job of getting from point A to point B with some scares along the way in under 200 pages. So if you're looking for something quick and easy to read, Him Standing would definitely be a good one. Then we have The Night Wanderer by Drew Hayden Taylor, which was one of my Patreon book club picks. But this one follows a girl whose father rents out a room in their house, or a room for board. The mysterious man starts to rent the room. Plot twist, he's a vampire who is returning to his ancestral grounds. And I really liked the character work in this more than anything else. This was a book that was very much just all vibes, no plot at all. Reading the perspective of indigenous vampires returning to their homelands after being turned into vampires in other countries, that's something that's really interesting. We have Crota by Owl Going Back. This is a horror novel from the 90s that's a creature feature. And in this book, we follow a sheriff who is trying to investigate these brutal animal slayings in his small town. He thinks that all of these people have been attacked by animals, bears. I believe that they specifically pin it on. But bears aren't native to their area. But you know what is? This monster called the Crota that has lived underground in these cave tunnels. If you like Jaws, if you like films like Grizzly, if you like the larger-than-life monster creature flicks, then we have a mystery novel, and that is A Lot's Way by Darcy Little Badger. Have I convinced everyone on the internet to read this one yet? I think I have. Ellie is visited by the ghost of her cousin who tells her, hey, cuz I just got murdered. This is who killed me. This is a speculative, kind of contemporary fantasy, so everyone knows magic exists. Everyone knows vampires and creatures of lore from all across the world exist alongside regular humans. I feel like I have slacked off talking about A Lot's Way because I was talking about it a lot and I think everyone was like, okay, we get the point. But I'm gonna jump back on the A Lot's Way hype train because ghosts and resurrection and magical powers and once again vampires and fae and creatures of lore and just everything in this book I think is perfect for the fall season, winter season. I think if you try this one you will genuinely love it. And we have a middle grade novel, and then A Skeleton Man by Joseph Bruchac. This is a wind up of the first two books. I have not read book 2 yet, and this one follows a girl named Molly whose parents go missing. So she's given into custody of this man who claims to be her uncle even though she's never met him, and she realizes that he resembles this monster from one of the stories her father used to tell her called the Skeleton Man, who eats people. This one was one of my favorite books growing up as a child. I think it still holds up on spook levels, and reading it as an adult, there were things in this book that fucked me up a little bit more than they did when I was a kid, so I think it can be enjoyed by either children or adults, but I would say give it a shot. I have not read book 2 yet though, so I cannot speak on that, but I do plan on reading it by the end of the year. We have Pet by Akweke Emezi, which falls into this nice in-between space of middle grade and YA. I don't really know exactly which side it leans towards more. And we follow our protagonist named Jam, who lives in this town of Lucille where supposedly all the monsters are gone. But one night Jam bleeds onto her mother's painting and a monster comes out of it and starts telling Jam that things aren't what she thinks and there's more going on in the town. I thought the writing in this one was just fantastic, and I loved Jam as a protagonist, and I really liked Akweke Emezi's writing in this age category. I really would like to see them write more geared for younger audiences, because I think that that's something that they pulled off very successfully in this book. Then we have a short story collection, Anoka by Shane Hawk, and this is just a short story collection that has a bunch of different stories going on, but they all take place in the town of Anoka, Minnesota, which is supposedly the Halloween capital of the world. I just thought this was great. There are scenes in this book that made me throw up. There is one in particular about a child who might not actually be a child. I do think that my two highlights in here are Imitate and Soilborn. Those, I think, are some of Shane's best writing, so definitely give this one a shot. Then we have another short story collection, and that is Talk to Me, an anthology of Arctic horror stories that I read this month. I will leave the Twitter thread where I review each individual short story link downstairs if you want to go check it out and get some of my favorites. Appreciated a lot of the themes that were present in this, which all tend to gravitate towards don't fuck with nature, don't fuck with the unknown, follow tradition, don't do shit you're not supposed to do. Very atmospheric, very gory, cautionary tales. I feel like the stories in this book either lean toward atmosphere or gore, and there's not really any that go in between, so you're kind of bouncing around a lot in this one. I'm going to feature two authors. The first one is Sherry Demoline, who is the author of Empire of Wild and The Marrow Thieves. Both of these are fantastic. Marrow Thieves follows a group of indigenous people who are traveling in secret because no one in the world can dream anymore. Everyone in the world has lost the ability to dream except for native people. People believe that the secret to solving this weird dreamlessness is found in the bone marrow of indigenous people, so they are being kidnapped and they are being killed for their bone marrow. It has so many horrific elements. There's so much that happens in this book, and it scared me. This book kept me up at night. Please read this book because I need more people to scream about it on the internet with. Demoline's adult thriller, which is Empire of Wild, that follows a woman whose husband has been missing for a year, and she realizes that he may be a Rougarou. I am still thinking about the ending of this book, even though I read it over a year ago. I did dog ear and highlight. The opening line of this book: old medicine has a way of being remembered, of haunting the land where it was laid. People are forgetful, medicine is not. I just appreciate Sherry Demoline's writing because that's a beautiful opening line. So yes, please go check out Sherry Demoline. I need more people to adore her as much as I do. We're at the part of the video that everyone's been waiting for, and that's the Stephen Graham Jones portion. So I've read quite a bit of Stephen Graham Jones. I have not, unfortunately, gotten through his backlist. He is my favorite author of all time, and today I'm going to recommend you 6 of his books. I've talked about pretty much all of them till I'm blue in the face on various social medias, so we're just going to burn through them right quick. I'm going to give you a quick synopsis and then one reason that I think you should read it. Have The Only Good Indians, which follows 4 Blackfeet men who are being stalked by this entity known as the Elk Woman, who is coming to take revenge on them for crimes they committed when they were younger. This is my favorite book of all time. It is fucked up. It is gory. This is the only book that has ever given me nightmares. We have Mongrels, which is a YA coming-of-age story about a family of werewolves. And the reason that you should read this book is because there's a scene where they talk about the transformation, discuss why werewolves have to remove clothes, and there's a scene where someone's leggings get sucked into their body and then have to bristle out again with the hair. We have The Last Final Girl, which is a meta slasher that follows a group of girls who are being hunted by a serial killer who are the last final girls of their own horror story. It's so weird and unique, and it's written in kind of a movie script format, so if you're a fan of horror movies, I think you'll enjoy it even more. Mapping the Anterior, which follows a boy who sees the ghost of his dead father walking through their home every night and decides to trace his path back to the spirit world. The reason you should read this one is because this is the first Stephen Graham Jones book that I ever read, and the second I finished it, I was like, he will be one of my favorite authors of all time. The second that I finished this, I was like, yep, he's up there, he's top tier. Then we have Night of the Mannequins, which follows a boy who starts murdering his friends one by one because he thinks that if he doesn't do it, a mannequin they played with as a child is going to kill them first. If you like the devolving into madness and kind of Final Destination style deaths, I think this would be a good one for you. Then we have Stephen Graham Jones's most recent book, My Heart is a Chainsaw, which follows a girl named Jade who believes that she is in a slasher film. People are going to start dying because her town is being gentrified, and she feels like there's gonna be slashery stuff going on. One, it is a commentary on how people do not believe sexual assault survivors, especially Indigenous women. It is a commentary on the Indian burial ground trope. It completely flips that over on its head. And talks about how Native people will never truly be able to rest as long as they live on colonized lands. It's loaded with slasher references, so if you are a horror movie fan, read this book. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know by liking and subscribing and sharing and hitting the bell and all that good stuff, as well as answering the comment question of the day. Comment question of the day, let me know of an Indigenous horror, thriller, mystery book that you're added to your TBR that you're very excited to get to. If you don't have time, you don't have the spoons, you don't have an answer, you can let me know you made it all the way until the end of the video by leaving me an emoji, preferably a yellow heart or a smiley face emoticon. I hope you have a wonderful whatever it is, wherever you are, and I will see you next time with another video. Thank you for watching. Okay.